will move on from there and do something a little special, something we don't do often. We are doing a retrospective review. I have tasked Damian and myself to play Ratchet Clank Into the Nexus again because November, I believe 12th, is going to be the 10th anniversary for this game, which is crazy because I've not played this game since it came out, honestly. So
That's
revisiting it on the PlayStation 3 was a lot of fun. I had to get my fucking PS3 controller. I had to get Gugon to get the fucking rubber because for some reason PlayStation 3 controllers
they
get
really
sticky.
gooey.
They get gooey for some reason. So I was like, okay, how do I fix this? So that I did some Googling, got some Gugon off. But yeah, we're just gonna talk about like when the game came out and then sort of how we experienced it today and sort of like where we rank it amongst the other Ratchet Clank games. So, Damien, do you remember where you bought this game or where you were when it initially came out 10 years ago?
I think I'm pretty sure I got a GameStop because it came out 2013, right? Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, I believe I got a GameStop. I think that's where I got all my Ratchet Clank games. You know the GameStop we used to go to that I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. But
yep, no.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's where I got. I remember getting like that game. I actually like. I remember more getting like Crack in Time like from there. But yeah, I believe I also got Into Nexus from there as well. But I remember being really excited. Obviously, I'm always excited when a new Ratchet Clank game came out. And I think I was more excited because the last two Ratchet and Clank games, I believe Full Frontal Assault came out before this.
It was Full Frontal Assault and then All for One.
Yeah. So yeah, those two games came out, and I was just like, I'm ready for like a traditional Ratchet Clank game, like whatever. Just please give me a traditional Ratchet Clank game after the spin-off stuff. And I finally got it, and I really enjoyed the game. Like I'm more like fresh on the game because I actually like. It's not like it's been 10 years since I played this game. It's been like maybe 3 years since I played this game. So like I mean I get to it when I get to it, but. You know, I was just excited to play it because it was a new traditional Ratchet Clank game. The last one that came out was Crack in Time, which came out in like 2009?
Maybe 11. Christ. Maybe 11. I don't know. Let me check.
I think it was 2009 because Tools Destruction was 2007. Quest for Booty was 8, and I think that was 2009.
It was 2009. Yeah. You're correct. You fucking nerd.
Yeah. So, you know, it was a long time since I played like a traditional Ratchet and Clank game, and it basically ending the saga I thought was really good. My only major disappointment at the time was that it was very short. And I feel like it's still like a major problem with the game is that its length is very short. It's a little longer than something like Quest for Booty, but it's basically like 1/4 of a traditional Ratchet and Clank game, which is kind of sad because there's a lot of really cool stuff in this game. I think it would be even better if it was a full-fledged Ratchet and Clank game. But I remember being very satisfied with the game. And yeah, my more disappointment was more that it was short and the fact that it wasn't on like PS4 at that point because I feel like it probably should have just been a launch title for the PS4 because the game kind of runs not great, but
yes,
yeah, but yeah, I still remember really enjoying the game when it came out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember. I believe it was also GameStop where I picked this up. I can't exactly remember, but it did come with a code for Quest for Booty.
Yeah,
so,
it did come for a code Quest for Booty, which I don't know what I did with that.
It's probably good at this point.
Yeah.
But if you weren't a Ratchet Clank fan and you wanted two games in one for $30, you know, you would just get this game. But you know, it is very short. It's only, I believe it only took me like 4 hours to beat it. Yeah. I was very surprised by it. I thought it was going to take like how long to beat.com said was like 5, but it only took me 4. You know, its length I think is also its biggest strengths in some regards because it is kind of like the greatest hits of all the Ratchet and Clank games up to that point. You know, you have the hover boots, you have the jetpack, you have that little museum where you could see like every single like little villain or character or whatever. So, you know, it is very much like trying to tie everything together for this sort of epilogue for the Ratchet and Clank Future trilogy. And, you know, for them to, you know, experiment with the other Ratchet and Clank titles with All for One and Full Frontal Assault, and then Insomniac Games were like, all right, guys, we're done fucking around. We're gonna give you guys a traditional Ratchet and Clank game here. And, you know, even playing it today within 2023, I still enjoyed it. You know, it definitely made me appreciate like how games were back then. Cause, you know, obviously I'm off the sort of Marvel Spider-Man 2 kick where it's like everything's going super duper fast. You know, there's like no loading times, you know, everything just runs smoothly, if you will. And then with this game, you know, certain things are, you know, buggy here and there, but, you know, I still really enjoyed my experience with this game. I still have a review on my channel that's fucking 10 years old that I pretty sure I praised the game and I really do still enjoy it. You know, I remember going back as I was playing it. I was like, I remember going through this thing with like the gravity thing or whatever. I completely forgot about the fucking Clank levels, which we'll talk about later. But, you know, I still really enjoyed this game when it initially came out and I still like it today.
Yeah, I just wow, let me see. I before I like go over the place. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, basically like I love this game. So I'm gonna say this right now. I do think it would be higher on like where I would rank all my Ratchet games if it wasn't for its length for me. Because I know the length is also like, it could be a strong suit for it, but I feel like there's so many cool ideas, and I'm glad Sonic didn't waste these ideas either. Like, they do show up in later Ratchet and Clank games, like the thruster pack thing comes back in the 2016 reboot, and then Rift Apart uses the gravity boot thing again, like we could like sort of like lock on and like change gravity and stuff. So I'm glad they took some ideas from this game and fleshed them out more in other games. But I just really like the vibe of this game, like, a lot. Like, that's something I feel like the 2016 game and even Rift Apart does, kind of does away with. Like, this game has more of like not an edgier tone, but a little more serious tone. And I like that a lot. I like the more spooky vibe it got. I like the two villains a lot. And it kind of just starts up with fucking Kronk and Zephyr just fucking
Rest
dying.
in peace.
Yeah, dude, I remember seeing that as like, how old was I? I was like 12 when that happened. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you kill Kronk and Zephyr? What the hell? And it's like played out pretty seriously too. And they're like dead. Like, yeah, they're like ghosts or something, but like they're fucking dead. So yeah, I thought that was like insane to me as a kid. And it really felt like the stakes were like pretty high, which I felt like the Future series did pretty well in general. And just the voice direction, I think, was really good too. Like, I don't know what they did with Ratchet's voice, in especially Rift Apart. Like, his voice direction in Rift Apart was like, be Johnny Test, and like he feels like he sounds more like Johnny Test. In this game, I really just like his tone and stuff. A little more serious, a little like deeper voice and stuff. I always like loved his voice direction in this game in general. And like I said, I think the story is really good. Like, I really do like the two twins and how it kind of parallels to Ratchet's thing of like getting to the Lombax homeworld. And I guess it's sort of like a dark reflection of what would happen if he was super obsessed with it and like would do anything to get the Dimensionator and shit. I guess Tachyon was also kind of like a mirror to that in Tools of Destruction. But I think this was a nice bookend for like sort of that sort of era of storytelling for them. Even though they're still not done with that stupid fucking story. Like, we still gotta get to the dumb Lombax dimension. But either way, I think it was a really good thematic like sort of bookending to that whole Future series. And again, I think what the story would have been better if it obviously was longer, because it's basically like Planet is like Act 1, 2, and 3 like immediately, right? Like the game doesn't have like a lot of breathing room to like set up a lot of like the stuff, but it did hit all the major moments well, because I can't really blame it because it doesn't have a lot of breathing room because it's not that long. But I think for what it is, I actually thought the story and everything about it was really good. I just love the vibe, like the darker vibe of it. So I don't know, what do you thought about like the story and stuff overall?
Yeah, obviously I don't remember much about it, but just seeing how Vendra Prague and sort of her brother and that sort of storyline and how that played out, I thought it was a lot of fun. Just seeing them sort of get the Dimensionator and then get this fucking weird eye thing.
Mr. Eye,
yeah, I was just like, okay, we're just gonna bring him here because that's her friend. And then, obviously it's like, what do you mean you're portraying me? What do you mean I was just a pawn? One thing I really liked about this game, I don't know if the humor was like this within Rift Apart. I can't remember, but this game was very funny. Like, it was obviously very...
I agree. Yeah, this game is definitely a lot funnier than like Rift Apart and stuff. Yeah, it definitely has like a lot more PS2 vibes to it than the other Future games. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely very funny because like when I guess like that cutscene with the whole like the arena thing, I'm like, here we go, the arena. It's like this very convenient, backpack jetpack thing. I was
made
like,
for this one specific robot. Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing here. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Even though that Kronk and Zephyr die, and there's definitely like some like darker story tones here. They aren't shy to like be funny with it. Like when Clank or Ratchet and Clank and the brother are just like in that room, and then you see that fucking drawing of fucking Ratchet with like a knife to his head. I was like, yep, okay, this is what we're doing. So yeah, I definitely like the humor, and I hope that if Insomnia games do come back to the Ratchet and Clank series, which I hope that they do, they bring back this same sort of writing style in there, because I forget that Ratchet and Clank games are actually funny as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did lose. Like, I don't agree with like Ratchet lost all its edge from the PS2. Like, I know there's a lot of like Ratchet boomers now, which is weird to say because I have also played a game since the start, but I don't really feel like that. But I definitely feel the humor really peaked with like Deadlock. Deadlock is like legit hilarious. Like, I love Deadlock's humor just because it is allowed to be a bit more edgy with it. Like, it's like makes a little more crude jokes. But I love Deadlock. But I do feel like the future games were just more serious in general. Like Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and Crack in Time. Like, they don't really do as many jokes. Like they're there. Like there's a great joke in Crack in Time that I still remember with like Nefarious like walks in and like Captain Quirk like dress up as like a nurse and like his whole mouth just falls. Like, I don't know, that part always gets me. But Yeah, I feel like this game also like kind of has that same vibe as the PS2 games, and I feel like that kind of goes in with the level design as well. Like I feel like the first planet, like the first like after you escape the ship, that first planet really feels like a PS2 Ratchet level where you have the two paths, one that's more like platformy and based off the new gadget you got, and one that's more combat focused to get the info bot for the gladiator place. That's very PS2 Ratchet and Clank design, which is really neat to see. We don't really see that too much with the newer games, since the newer games are more focused on gunplay and shooting, always shooting now. So it's nice to have like levels or worlds that are more like, okay, yeah, this is when you use your gadget, and this is when you do more exploration and platforming, and then here's your more combat focused path. Like I feel like that was kind of lost after like even like Ratchet Clank 3 kind of lost that. It was more like Ratchet 1 and 2 that were really pushing for that level design. So it was cool to see that in spirit in this game. And just throwing new ideas too. Like, I think like that gravity tether thing was really cool. Like I really like that gadget a lot. It's simple, effective, but it's a fun gadget to use. And I think that's what, most Ratchet gadgets should be doing. Also made me realize how much I miss gadgets because Rift Apart doesn't have any. So yeah.
Definitely, just like the way that the game's structured, every single weapon only levels up to level 3.
Yeah.
So
V3.
you are really like pressured to like get the other weapons and sort of mess around with those as fast as possible. I only really used like the blades and the fucking rocket launcher. As soon as I got those, I was like, yep, these are broken. So I'm going to keep using them. But obviously like you get the traditional blaster, then you get the bomb gadget. So, those are definitely a lot of fun to use. And, just because of the length, obviously everything only goes up to level 3, but also the raritanium, just like using that to like upgrade your weapons as well as sort of like a little substitute. So then each weapon doesn't have to be upgraded all the way to like level 5 or something like that. So, I really do like how the way that every single planet was structured, but also just like how the gameplay was. You had some moments, like you said, where you would just use like the gadgets or like platform or whatever. And then you had moments where you were just like, shooting people and just killing them and just having a lot of fun with that. So.
Yeah, I guess for the weapons, I liked a lot of them, even though the arsenal is really tiny in this game, obviously. And you have your standard ones, you have like the blaster, bomb glove, in every fucking game, every Ratchet game, you have that stuff. Zircon is here as well, but you have some really cool ones, like the terror box is really cool. Yep. It gets really strong when you level it up as well, because it's basically like a nerf Groovitron, which is fine, because I think the Groovitron is way too overpowered. So I'm glad when they bring in like other, like, I guess CC weapons that aren't like as broken, but are still pretty good. I love the nether beast. Like you get that in the last planet where you have like the little nether on your thing and you can like sort of punch it and shit. That weapon's super cool just because of how unique it is. The black hole bomb, that one's also really cool. I love any black hole weapon. Ratchet, I think only Ratchet and 3 in this game have like a black hole gun, and that's really cool as well. I actually did went and get the Rhino as well. It took like maybe an extra hour, but like, I have to have the Rhino, and I love how the Rhino looks in this game as well. So I think the arsenal is pretty good for what it is. You have like the Winterizer as well, like the morph gun in this game just turns people into snowmen. You got some good weapons in this game for how small of a game it is. And I think only them leveling up to V3 also makes sense because again the game's length isn't that much. But like I said, I think the game length also makes sure like it puts in new ideas every planet. Again, like what the first planet is more traditional Ratchet Clank level, and then the city planet is more I guess like platforming, and you have like your new thruster pack as well, which is a really cool mechanic. I'm glad they brought that back in the 2016 game as well, because I think that's a fun way to sort of explore more open areas and have those because Ratchet Clank loves to have those open areas where you like do collect a bunch of shit, so that's fun as well. And obviously you get your hover boots as well, which don't feel as good as Crack in Time, but they still feel pretty okay. So yeah, I think every level they try to do new stuff, and which is great because the game only has like 5 levels. So I'm glad each world feels like distinct and stuff. So yeah.
Like I said, this is pretty much Ratchet and Clank's greatest hits up until this point. And I feel like the Clank levels, like I said earlier, I pretty much forgot about them. So once I was in them, I was like, oh shit, this is what the Clank levels were. I forgot.
Yeah, the VVVV. Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, I was definitely like dying a lot, not just in the Clank levels, but just like in general, because I guess I'm rusty to Ratchet and Clank. But yeah, these levels were fine. They weren't like anything amazing or spectacular. It's definitely like a downgrade from obviously like a Crack in Time. Yeah. But they're okay. They're fine.
I like it. I mean, I feel like Ratchet levels, Clank levels definitely got a lot better since Tools of Destruction because I think Tools of Destruction was the last time they kind of used traditional Clank gameplay, which I always thought were fine. You know, like in Tools of Destruction, you have the zonies help you a little bit, but it's basically the same thing like the PS2 games, which were also just okay. I think Crack in Time was obviously amazing, like, you know, because that was like half the gameplay was Clank levels, and they're great. I think I actually really like these Clank levels as well. Like, you know, they're really short and sweet, but I think they're pretty fun to play through. And I'm happy that Sony kind of like kept making the Clank levels their own things later, like with the Crack in Time stuff in this game, and then Rift Apart, which I really like the Rift Apart Clank levels as well. So I'm happy they made them like more unique and stuff, and like more brain teasy. And this one is more like reflexes and VVV type stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the Clank stuff quite a bit. I thought it was pretty fun to go through as well. But yeah, honestly, like. I really do have to talk about it because this game definitely has like my favorite planet, or I guess favorite section in any game ever. Well, any Ratchet game ever, is the museum part. Like I remember first playing that, and I loved it. I love when games, when you reach like sort of like an end to like a saga, and it kind of like respects that you did that. Like, look at all the things you did. Like, look at all this. You did this shit. And I love that, especially when I was like 12, like, and like went through like all the other Ratchet and Clank games and just seeing all that. Like, I got super, like, when I found the fucking Bio-Obliterator in like the museum level, I'm like, that's so cool. I still think that's one of the coolest things ever, because it's really rare for the PS3 games to reference the PS2 games too much. So it was really cool to see that. And yeah, just that level in general is just so good. I interacted with all the museum things again, and yeah, I always remember that level will always be one of my favorite Ratchet and Clank levels like ever. It's just so good. I love it.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, it was just annoying to like carry on that fucking bot or whatever.
Mostly when you want the boxes. Like, I want the crates, but I can't let go of my guy. So yeah.
I'm like, all right, I gotta put the bot here, and then I gotta break these crates, and then I gotta pick the bot back up again. But yeah, that museum is definitely like the highlight of everything, just because it really does kind of recap everything that you've done and sort of everything that Ratchet and Clank has been, which is why I call it the greatest hits of all the Ratchet and Clanks. But where would you rank this game amongst the other ones?
Yeah, so like, oh man, against all of them is weird. Like, against the future games, if this game was the same length as any other Ratchet Clank game, I think it would be my second favorite PS3 Ratchet Clank game behind Crack in Time. But because I feel like there's like, you know, it's not, I feel it's like my third favorite, but it's really close to Tools of Destruction. Like, I feel like if this game was expanded upon and became like a PS4 launch title with like double the planets, like it had 10 planets or whatever, I think it would have easily been my second favorite, because I really do like this game a lot. Like, I feel like it's very underrated in terms of Ratchet games, just because of when it came out and how short it is. Like, but I do feel like it is like a really good game with a lot of good ideas in it. But I guess in terms of like overall structure, probably like Crack in Time is still my number one. Probably Up Your Arsenal is number 2. 3 is probably Rift Apart, and I mean, oh man, see, that's where it always gets hard for me. I feel like I have my top 3 pretty solid for that, but it probably would have to be like Going Commando for like 4th, and then probably Tools, and then probably the OG Ratchet and Clank, and then probably this one. It seems pretty low, but again, that's only because of its length and stuff. But I really do like this game a lot. Like, I do think it's like I do think it's a really good Ratchet and Clank game. And I feel like if you ever slept on it, like my brother actually slept on this game for a while. He only played it this year actually, which is why I was kind of familiar with it already. Because I'm like, and he said like, yeah, this game was really good. Like, he just didn't play it when it came out. And yeah, I feel like that has an effect on this game. Has an effect on people. It really sneaks off, and you're like, yeah, this game is really good. So yeah, I think it's only like kind of in the middle of my tier list just because of its length. But if it was the same length as like Tools of Destruction, it probably would be like top like 5. So
okay. I would say it's in my top 5. I mean, I don't have a lot of or as much nostalgia for the older games as you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, is it within my top 3? I was like, nah, it's probably within my top 5. I would say it would be just like you. Number 1, Crack in Time. Yeah. Then after that, I would say Rift Apart, and then probably Up Your Arsenal after that, and then probably Into the Nexus, and then something else 4th. I forget. But, you know, it's been a while since I played a lot of these games, and I have a tier list on my YouTube channel that's fucking outdated at this point. So I definitely have to replay all these games and then maybe do a updated tier list on that, or maybe we could do one together. Who the fuck knows?
I feel like... Sorry,
go on.
I just feel like all Ratchet games are like good. Basically, like obviously the bottom of a tier list would be like the spin-offs and like the PSP games, but I feel like that's kind of a given. But like honestly, like probably the worst Ratchet game, like that's like a mainline Ratchet game. I mean, it probably is the 2016 game, but even then, I've kind of like lightened on that game. Like I didn't even hate it when I first played it. I just was a little disappointed at it. Nowadays, I'm like, it's a good game. Like I think the 2016 game is good, but it probably would be the lowest on that, and then probably the OG Ratchet game, just because how old it is. Even though I love Ratchet 1, but I can understand, like, if some people play it now, it's like, ooh, this kind of shows like shit, and like, the gunplay isn't great, and it's kind of janky. Yes. But I still absolutely love Ratchet Clank 1. I've played it like 30 fucking times in my life. But yeah, it'd probably be like those two in the bottom if I had to like put them anywhere. Again, I think all Ratchet games like minimum like 8s anyway, so like it's fine. But
yeah.
But yeah, I think Into Nexus is a very good game, and if you ever played Ratchet Clank before and or you slept on this game, definitely play it. Like Travis said, very much like I think it is definitely the most underrated Ratchet Clank game, and if you haven't played it yet, play it. It's really good. It's on the streaming. I played it on the PlayStation streaming thing because I'm still subscribed to that for like a year, and it ran pretty well for me. So that's good. Oh yeah, and I guess like the other downside is the game kind of performs like not great.
Oh yes,
I forgot to mention that it uses like the same engine as the spin-off games. So and those games weren't really meant, I guess, for like this like more level-based structure. So it like the frame rates and stuff does get kind of choppy. The game in general doesn't look that great compared to like the other PS3 Ratchet games either. Like the art style still looks nice and stuff, but I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. So, but I blame that more on the engine of using like the spin-off games as a base than anything else. And it has this weird thing where Travis had an issue with it where you couldn't even make a new game because it's like tied to this weird profile system and shit.
Yes.
So you have to like actually go into your PS3 menu and like delete your save and then you can make a new game. It's kind of dumb. But besides that, that's really the only major downside besides its length, like I said. So, but yeah, I still think the game is great. But yeah.
Yeah. The game's performance is definitely like PS3 jank, and this is a late PS3 game too. Like this isn't really something late.
This is like one of the last PS3 games to come out.
So it is kind of crazy that it did run like kind of garbage when I was playing it. But you know what? It is what it is. I kind of looked past most of it when like the audio was cutting out or like certain things were getting delayed. I was like, all right, if I pause the game and then I unpause it, it goes back to normal. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. But there was like this one really stupid ass glitch or bug. I don't know exactly what it was, but at the end where you had to kill those 3 thugs, the last one was still in the air and I couldn't shoot it with any of my guns. And I didn't buy the sniper because I was holding on to my bolts for whatever reason. Yeah. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna buy the sniper. And like, because Ratchet can't look straight up, I had to like keep walking back and I almost fell off, but I was just like, all right, let me just like get the aggro so then I could just like instantly kill him after that.
Right.
But, yeah. That shit was stupid, but yeah, like I said, greatest hits of pretty much all the Ratchet and Clank games up to that point. If you got into these series because of Rift Apart, play this game because it is a lot of fun. Or should I say, if you got into Rift Apart if you got into Ratchet and Clank because of Rift Apart, my apologies, start from the beginning, and then once you get up to this game, you will really appreciate everything the Ratchet and Clank series has done so far.
I agree. I mean, this game really made me wish. I'm like, fuck. I really wish we got like some mega collection of other Ratchet games because I would love to see these games at like 60 frames, like good resolutions and shit. I mean, it probably won't be 60 frames, but probably, at least if they up the resolution and make it look pretty and be native and stuff, like I would die for that. Like I really want just like at least a future collection. Like even if you can't do the PS2 games for whatever reason, I would love to just at least have the future games like be in like this nice like package and stuff. I really thought we were gonna do that for the 20th anniversary, but at least I could play them on streaming, I guess. Like it's fine, but like I still want like a native like port on PS5 at some point. So hopefully we get that at some point. I know it's kind of copium, but like I really hope we get something like that because I love this series a lot. So also I want another excuse to play all the games again. So yeah.
Yes, I also want another excuse to play all the games again as well. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add, good Sa?
No, that's it. I love Ratchet and Clank. Thank you for making me play. I mean, I like I said, I would drop everything to play like a Ratchet Clank game. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Well, we'll do it again when Rift Apart hits 3 years in June. So
yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 125. We'll see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.